Can you see my screen good?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a class that is there will be this presentation is about the CAL training, about what things can you learn from there, what will be some of your takeaways, and a little bit of an insight, not with exact things from the class, but some appetizers for you. Hope that makes sense. So let's get to know me a little bit better. Don't worry with let me share with you. If you want, you can follow me on the mural board. Okay. Let me share it with you. And in the end of the class, Simpliaxis will share with you the PDF of the presentation. So the PDF will probably have more stuff than the one we're gonna talk because there are some additionals for you there. But I hope we can cover the essentials over this webinar. Okay? Feel free to interrupt me anytime that you have a question or you want to know something more or if you have some curiosity that I didn't talk about. Okay? So on screen, you can see the boring stuff about me, my credentials, what I do for a living. Nonetheless, it won't tell you who I am as a person. So, as a person, I am married for a very, very long time. Um, my kids already flew the nest, so I'm an empty nester, and now I have three amazing fur babies that I couldn't live in a clean house and organized, so I got dogs to make the mess, and I can shout to someone and keep my nervous system on the edge because we never know what they're gonna do next. My Fanny accent comes from Portugal, where I am today. And apart from that, I lived and worked in London for almost 12 years. So some of my funny accent also comes from there. And I moved from London to Raleigh, North Carolina. So you can see life actually takes us around the world quite a bit every now and then. I believe that made me a more open person and more curious about things that are surrounding me. So the boring stuff you can read on the slide later. So I'm currently a product manager for organization. I love product management. I am an enterprise coach as well. So doing some enterprise coaching at the same time, I'm responsible for one of the products. Bringing agile mindset in is always something that I really appreciate. So, what we're going to talk today. The first bit is about leadership traps, some of the things that we easily fall on it, and some of the thoughts or the stories we're telling ourselves about things we can and cannot do in the organizations. Then, influence map and causal loop diagram are intertwined because this is where AI comes along, and you can actually, I'm not doing AI demo here for the obvious reason that probably will take a bit time. But I do have some prompts for you, some outcomes for you there that can probably help you with your organization and your challenges. And then talking a little bit more about the Agile Coaching Growth Wheel and how can this be used for leadership and how important it is. And this is pretty much it for today. And then I will give you my contacts and say if you want to know more, join me on one of my call trainings, and I will be very glad to have you there. So let's, I would like to ask you, as a leader, what are some of the number one challenge you face in your organization? You can talk it out loud, put it on the chat. Um, What do you think is the biggest challenge? Or if you want, you can actually grab a post-it and stick it on the board. It allows for that. So if you want any challenges that you remember you facing, things that I would like Calvin to help me with this or help me with that. Oh, someone is typing there. Being agile, during changing things during the work, and is not something that we all want. Um, yeah, anyone else has anything that they would like to share? Okay, so I'm going to show you, and you can, even with the reactions, you can show me if you agree or not. During my time as an enterprise coach, as an agile leader, these are the three things I think are the most common traps for leadership. One is the authority illusion. The other is the change resistant myth. And the other one is the agile mindset. So, the authority illusion is when ourselves, sometimes we don't have the formal authority to execute something or to mandate something. Oh, and we say, yeah, if I had another position, if I had another rank, I might be able to do this, I might be able to do that. But that's a thing, I don't. And we settle for less. The other one is the change resistant myth. And this is something that I'm just teasing you here. People don't resist to change, right? We change every day. We get new things for our phones, we change our TVs, we change our habits, we go through new restaurants, we try new food, we do new things, we change our car, we change decorations, we change hairstyle, we change so many things. The thing is, people resist to being changed when it's mandated on them. That is what I guess none of us human like to be told. And the other one is mindset mandate. People say, oh, you need to be agile, right? You need to have an agile mindset. This is easy. It's a question of choice. You just need to make things a little bit different. Is it? So these are the three things that I'm going to talk with you a little bit today. Challenge me, ask questions. Otherwise, as a good South European, I can talk my head off through all out the 30, 45 minutes that we get. Okay? Feel free to interrupt me anytime. So let me share with you the authority illusion. So this board here, this bits down here, we most likely will skim through the top, but there is more for you down here. I didn't want you to come here, spend your time with me, and in the end of the day, doesn't take anything back. So if you have something to take back. The authority illusion, I don't know if you have heard something that we use in coaching and is very, very true. Our perception shapes our reality. And this is true with everybody. Perception shapes reality. So if I need authority to act, so I'm not doing anything because I feel I'm not empowered to do so. I need permission from someone. Power flows top down. Change is mandated. I don't have the power. I don't have the rank. Uh, because we have been told to actually respect hierarchy. And of course, there are things we do need to respect, like for budgets, headcount, those things, there's no way around it. But some of the things is actually we can do something. And often, and the thing is, when we think about doing something, if we don't have permissions, often we get wary about career consequences. Am I challenging authority? Am I going a little bit overboard? So it's really, really complicated in our mindset if we have these thoughts here. So there is something that we can do, and one of them is run experiments. If you have a problem in your team or your organization, I actually added down here um, two examples about things that happened to me, and I'll just share it with you. But the thing is, I can experiment if my team is struggling with stand-ups or struggling with reporting or struggling with transparency, or my department, I can actually propose something, run a pilot, and present results. I can step forward. I cannot control what others do, but I do can control what I do as a leader, because leadership is different than rank and authority. So there are people that are executives, but they have no leadership skills. They have rank, and rank dictates authority. Nonetheless, we want to be leaders, agile leaders, someone that feels and is empowered to bring change. So, what instead of thinking I need permission, we collaborate with people. We pass our ideas on. We understand what is the pain points that our team, our organization is suffering. And from there, we can, oh, I hear you. What would like to be different? And we can start the conversation and bring some of those experiments to place, you know, and this change is not mandated. It starts to emerge because if your team doesn't have transparency and you provide transparency to your team by using dashboards or having a wide meeting where you actually share with everybody the progress, or you have a dashboard where people can see live updates of what your team is up to, or where are your deliverables, all of those things. These are just small things that actually we often can do, and we can create and foster that environment with our organization using our influence to actually start to make small changes and create momentum. Any questions there? No? Good. So I'm gonna move on. I opened the other one, then you can read on your own time. And this one is the change resistance myth. And this comes back to perception shapes reality. And organizations are filled with change resistant people. And we say, and we look to this and we look to this map here, and you say, okay, these are the people we want to focus on. We want to have this little bit, these people that actually are the people that can come along, understand, and want early adopters, and the others are the laggards. They will just change. You know what? There is one thing. No one comes out of the bed every morning and says, I hope nothing changed. People like change. People like their lives to become better, their work to become better. They like things that actually enables them to be more productive, better professionals. What people don't like, really, is when people say, now you're going to do this different, you're going to do that different. And you know what? Often those changes are mandated and there's no why coming with it. And these changes made people's life harder. I don't know if you ever witnessed some teams that, and this is just a small example, then we can have organizational examples, but this is a small example in a team. Oh, this team will start to do Scrum, and we go and we put the Scrum meetings in. So the team gets a bunch of new meetings every day. But no one stopped 5 minutes to actually explain the team and bring the team on board. Understanding, Scrum actually answers to some of the problems a team have: the communication, the transparency, boundary, communication with stakeholders, planning, be aware of what is coming next, be able to. But if we just stick it on them, they will fight it back with their gut, because what they will say is if I didn't have meetings enough, now they put, I don't know how many meetings in my calendar. How the heck am I going to work? So, and this happens not only on the team scale, but happens on organizational scale. People who, instead of understanding what their needs are and answer to their needs, we push change on people. Of course, if someone comes to my house and tells me that I need to change this, and this, and that just because that will make my life more effective, oh God, I will resist them with my gut. It's my house, it's my rules. But if someone comes and explains me that, imagine, to save the energy bills, I need to isolate the house and I will need to do this and that. And because I keep complaining that my electricity bill is too high and I would like to bring it down. So I'm turning off this or I'm turning off that, and someone tells me you don't need to have less comfort. Actually, you can make your life way more comfortable because this and this and this will actually help you. And most likely, I will be willing to invest some money to collect that benefits later. But I would need to understand the why. And this is true on your personal life and on your professional life. If we can understand the why, or if that why we are changing are answering some of my needs, because things will get better, I'm willing to take the chance. Remember one thing, sometimes these people that we call the laggards, they've been there before. And some of the changes were pushed on them, they gave them the benefit of the doubt, and nothing happened. They just got more work and they got hurt out of it. So it's okay this time. They're like, I will pay to see this. Not me, because they had enough troubles in the past. And we need to understand why this is happening. So, yeah, and remember one thing, that sometimes these people that we labeled laggards, the ones that don't want to change, we need to listen to what they are saying, because they most likely will give you awesome insights on possible things where this thing will fail. Because they were there before, most of them. They saw it failing before in some others. So they actually can be your best forecast. If you do a workshop calling what can go wrong. I don't know if you ever did that when starting a project. Instead, we say, okay, now in 6 months, we want to be there. What is the worst thing that can happen to us? And try to deconstruct and find risks and vulnerabilities and all of that. Kind of do this. These laggards do this for you for free. We just need to engage with them, hear them out, and most of them, they are not resistant. They've been hurt in the past and they just don't believe. But it's up to us to take the initiative to make something happen. Any questions, comments? Okay. Feel free to ask questions if you do have some. So, mindset mandate. We need people to have a growth mindset. We need people to shift to this culture to be more agile. If people just change a little bit, we talk about this all the time, don't we? Still, nothing changes. I think even the language we use when we talk about the others should change, the others should have, they don't have, we are starting from the wrong premise. First of all, we are excusing ourselves for any failure because other people didn't have the mindset. This thing all went down all went south. Would that be? Might. Oh, we tried, but they just don't have the right mindset. Did you ever heard this? I did. So this is why I bought it here. So you can choose your mindset. Is this true? Let's take a little bit more dig on it. And how do people want to change mindset in organizations? They send everybody for a training on mindset and agile and all of these new jargons and flashy and brandy new words. And you need to be collaborative. You need to embrace change. You need to think about your maybe awesome decks and stuff that people will be brilliant when they come back. They will see that the agile mindset is what we need. Yes, they will definitely go to the training. You know what often people forget? It's not the training. The training is a good thing. It's when they come back. They go to the training on the weekend, they come back on Monday. And yeah, nothing changing in the organization. So the failing fast doesn't apply. People are incentivized against experimentation. People want outcomes and dates for the outcomes, not driven by out. They want outputs and date driven. They are not setting to actually what or how they or why. Nothing changed. We are doing a project plan and people go to the training and say you need to work on the product vision and they learn all of that, but the organization itself doesn't have it. So creating this in the organization. So when we bring change into an organization, culture, mindset, processes, everything needs to change. Otherwise, we teach people, but in the end of the day, nothing changing. It was a waste of money sending people to training. Worst case scenario, you train them, they see there is a better way to work, and they take off going to a best place to work. So this is something that we often see in the organizations. So we need to create the conditions for these behaviors because driving behaviors, changing behaviors, mindset will follow. As people start to see and work in different ways, if they are encouraged to do so, understanding what gets rewarded in the organization, what gets punished, what is visible, what is hidden, what is the type of feedback this organization has, how leadership is, how feedback, how peers are working together. Are we allowing experiment and if we experiment something and for whatever reason it fails, what is the cost of that? Is that even allowed? What is easy to implement in your organization? Because if we take the most resistant path, it will lead to failure. So understanding the why we need to change, and this is a small difference between telling people what they need to do or people understanding if there is the need to change, why they need to change, what is in that for them. Because if people can understand why the change is needed, how is that affecting their work, how is that being good for them, not just telling them, but driving this type of behavior. In change management, one of the things is creating momentum, communicating the why, finding your champions, building, creating momentum, amplify the wins. And that calls creating demand for change instead of pushing change into people. And this is something that us as leaders, we need to shift often our way of thinking from I can't do because I don't have rank enough. You know, people don't like to change and think people don't like to be changed when they understand that it's good for them and what is in it for them. Oh, believe me, people do change. We just need to understand and creating this momentum, these behaviors, because when we drive behaviors, actually mindset will follow. Any questions, comments? So, one of the things, and this is just an introduction to you, understanding influence mapping, causal loop diagrams, and systemic thinking is something that we work on mostly on Cal 1. We have a pretty good chunk of time dedicated to that. And actually, how can we visualize change? How can we visualize the ripple effects of our interventions in the organizations? So, how can we identify key stakeholders and people that actually are crucial for advancing some initiatives? How can we map influence? What is the people and anticipate resistance? So this is something that you can actually, this is where I created some little prompt for you. Imagine you are an agile leader tasking with driving major transformation in a mid-sized organization. Your goal is to identify key stakeholders influence and can accelerate and hinder this, create mindset. So then you need to identify these people, what they are do, some dynamics, and then from there, you can actually use something like this. This actually here has some, AI sometimes does some misspellings. I guess is to test our sharpness. But you can probably see that some of this you can create. So I give it a small scenario here. Understanding power dynamics is crucial to prioritize efforts, engagement and strategy, communication and transparency, strategic actions, and what are the AI benefits for that? And kind of create a small roadmap for what should we do. So this is something that you can do. This is one done without, this is just a generic one, but you can use this to actually map some of the people in your organization. How do they work together with a little bit, of course, be aware that whatever you put into these prompts is what you get back. So if your vision is a little bit biased, you will get biased causal loop diagrams or biased outcomes. It's good that we can do this at least with two people that can brainstorm who are the stakeholders and create with a similar prompt to this one. You can actually map who your stakeholders are and how can we create some influence and see then draw some strategy to bring to our organization. Often we don't need rank. We mostly need is initiative. Start doing. Comments? So, last bit is about a coaching competency framework. So we will gonna talk in Cal about the um, four things that are the core competency domains. So we will use and we will talk about it and give you the tool where you can see all the domains like facilitation, coaching, mentoring, teaching that a leader needs for organizational support. How can we do a self-assessment on it? How can I do a self-assessment on myself and understand am I a systems thinker or am I a more traditional approach? So, and from there, we can have some tools to actually understand how can we improve and do and create better impact in our organization. Kind of look to our blind spot. What are the things that as a leader, I still need to improve to make myself more effective? You know, there is always something new. And when we can actually create that awareness of our areas to grow, being a leader, you need to be a role model. Keep learning, keep moving forward. And just by doing a role model, you can influence others to do the same. So, and this coaching competency framework also talks about your presence as a leader. So, how can you use your influence there? And this is pretty much about what I have as a teaser for you for Cal. Now, why Cal training? And this is my pitch for Salesforce. So, you can, I'm just giving you my schedules here. I'm going to put it on the chat if you want to take a look. So, how to be an influencer for mindset in your organization, how to build the leadership team relations that make influence work, how to shift your leadership from being a manager to be a systems leader, and how to create organizational conditions for organization to thrive. So this is what Cal 1 and Cal 2 sets you for. So Cal 1 will go more around you as a leader, growing your skills as a leader. Then we will talk about how to apply those skills into team growth and understanding am I a systemic thinker? Do I pay attention on systems thinking when I'm working on my organization? And when we talk about Cal 2, we talk more about some managerial skills like difficult conversations. We dip a little bit deeper on feedback, understanding conflict management. And then we talk a lot about change management, organizational structure, and some of the practices that we can actually bring to our organization to enable this agile mindset and start a cultural change. Even though we might not have the rank, there are things that if you do have the rank, it makes it easier. If you don't have the rank, you will have some tools that you can use to grow your influence in your organization. You can connect with me on LinkedIn as well. So here is my LinkedIn profile. Please do connect, ask questions. Oh, I actually, this is not my LinkedIn profile that I posted there, but this is. Oh, Okay, here you have it. You can connect with me. And that's it. We come and drawn it to a close. Any comments, anything that you'd like to share or ask? If you want, you can actually, I can bring everybody to me here. You can drop some stuff here if you want. Let me share the link of the board with you all again, just in case you need it. You're most welcome. Please leave some feedback because these presentations, I always like to improve them. Every month I do one in a different topic. Last month was, and if I'm not correctly, correct me, Arcana, I guess it was on metrics, agile metrics, and why does that matter? So every month, yeah, I was
Yeah,
correct.
that metrics.
So, yeah. So last month was on metrics. I don't know what will be next month, but I'm sure that Erkan and I will come up with something for next month. So this month is about how can our perspective of our organization shape the way we act. And often if perceptions change reality. So if we can change from, oh God, I can't do, to the, yes, that's what I can do, that's what I can influence, that's what things can change for me, that will be something that we always can do better. Let me see if I can share. Yeah. Okay, I'm posting on the chat the link for the presentation where you can just download it there if you want. I'm gonna stop the share now. If you want, you can start the board as it is, and I will leave the board open in view only from tomorrow. If you wanna add some comments there or something for me, please do. Do reach out, ask questions, put something on the board. I will check it out again in a couple of days before I move it to view only mode. Oh, thank you, Dimitris. I hope so. Give it a go. This is just a little bit. I'm fortunately enough to only do trainings that I do believe, and most of the workshops I share with you in the training are workshops that I use on my own practice. So they are tested in an organizational environment. They are not for academical purpose only. So I'm very happy to share that with you and some examples from my own professional life and some of the struggles I have. Because as you guys, I have a day job. I struggle my struggles there, and those teach me a lot, as probably you're also teached you. Thank you very much. Anything you want to add before I close the session? Okay, I hope you downloaded the file. Either ways, Simpliaxis will actually email you the PDF as well. So make sure that you get it. Even sometimes the downloads and uploads here on the chat, they work-ish. And stay tuned with Simpliaxis. They will have the recording available for you. See you soon. Thank you all for coming.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Raquel. Thank you so much.